Hi everybody, I'm back in downtown Independence. So what happened was last night we didn't know that our cat was in our room, and he jumped up on the bed and woke us up at 6, and neither one of us could go back to bed. And so we decided to go out, and I want to make this video right now. So it turns out that this event is called Santa Calagon, and this is a reference to the 3 trails here that started here in Independence: the Santa Fe Trail that went to New Mexico, the California Trail that went to California, and the Oregon Trail. So they do this every year, and I found out that it's going to go until Monday, and I thought it would be a good idea to come back here, and I want to take a look at those markers again. I've already seen them, of course, before, but I didn't really get a chance to read them last night because it was dark. There were a lot of people, and it's really nice right now because when I got out of the car it said it was 69 degrees. This is probably the coolest it's been for any of these videos that I've made. But yeah, so I guess they're gonna have these streets closed for the whole weekend, all the way until Monday. I guess it makes sense. So I guess they have this, you know, Labor Day weekend every year. That's an easy way to remember it. So if you're new to the channel, there's this thing that not a whole lot of people know about when they come to Independence. They usually go over to the visitor center, then they go over to the temple lot. They might go see the Community of Christ temple, but there's this Missouri Mormon Walking Trail, which is a set of 14 markers that are embedded in the sidewalks from the temple lot all the way to over here, the downtown area. And I intend to video all of them, and just so you know, they also have these right here. This is for Harry S. Truman though. Harry S. Truman is from here. Let's just look at this. This is marker 44. The Harpy Club, formed in 1924 by Harry Truman and his friends, dedicated to the enjoyment of poker, met in an upstairs room of this building. 1924, that's the year that President Nelson was born. And this year he's going to turn 101 in just about, let me think, I guess about a week and a half from now is when it's going to happen. Well, there's the Veterans of Foreign Wars booth. When I got out of the Army, I thought about joining either them or the American Legion. I'd be able to join Veterans of Foreign Wars because I was in Afghanistan. But okay, so down there, you know what? Let's just do it again. Let's hit up a few markers today. Now, we've already seen this one. So this is right next to Ophelia's, which is a restaurant. But you have this marker that marks a couple things actually. There's another Harry S. Truman thing. They have stuff for Harry S. Truman all over town. And then on the opposite side you have a wall mural for the 3 trails. And you have Salt Lake right there. Okay, right over there is City Hall, and then the police department is also over there. Okay, so marker number 11, Boggs Home, Maple Street, Lot 5. Site of the early home of Wilburn Boggs, merchant, state senator, and governor, Mormon Peter Whitmer Jr. operated a tailoring shop here in 1831. And this was put here by the Missouri Mormon Frontier Foundation. Peter Whitmer Jr. was one of the 8 witnesses, if you didn't know. Okay, so we'll walk back this way. There's the Jackson County Courthouse. And one of my viewers, I think this was on Facebook, told me that Jackson County has 2 county seats. Or in other words, 2 buildings that are, you know, the county seat buildings essentially. One is here in Independence, and then there's one, I guess, in downtown Kansas City. All right, let's go this way to Main Street. Ooh, something smells good over here. Smells like steak or something, or brisket. Maybe all the above, I don't know. But we have another place down here. Ooh, I'm gonna have to check this out. Scandinavia place. They have all sorts of interesting little stores, antiques. Oh, my girls would love that. This dollhouse. Wow, that is vintage. Better be if it's in an antique store. Oh my gosh, I wish you guys could smell that right now. It smells so good. Here's a historical marker. Jackson County Marshal's House and Jail Museum. Built in 1859, these buildings served as United States Provost Marshal's headquarters during the Civil War. Frank James, outlaw, and William C. Quantrill, border war guerrilla, were jailed here. In use until 1933. American Revolution Bicentennial Commission of Independence, 1976. Okay, there's a marker right there. I don't know if you can see it yet or not. This is right in front of the Harry S. Truman National Historic Site Visitor Center. Right in front of this bench. Okay, this is number 13, 1827 jail lot. Mormons A.S. Gilbert, William McClellan, John Carrill, and Isaac Morley were held here in 1833. Later, Orson Porter Rockwell was held in a second jail here. So, one thing to keep in mind, and this is a mistake that I made, don't confuse the jail with the courthouse. I was getting kind of confused when I was first looking at these, because it's like, okay, where was this courthouse? Because the courthouse has been moved a couple times. Oh, and look at this. There's a Harry S. Truman, I don't know, little like token thing in the sidewalk. But I think this is one of 2 Rockwell sites. The other one is over on Pleasant Street. But it's really neat. And then Gilbert, he's the one that we're going to go look at that marker, but you have the Gilbert and Whitney Company store. So we're going to look at that in just a minute. I've always liked this right here. You know, the Jackson County Courthouse is iconic. And so you have these columns right here at this intersection of Truman and Main Street. But let's go ahead and go this way. Oh, let me show you this. I'm debating whether I should do some of these Civil War historical markers. Let's see, Tor Stop D, Second Battle of Independence, October 1864. After heavy fighting at the Little Blue River on the 21st, Price's Confederate Army forced Blunt's cavalry to retreat to the Big Blue River, leaving a rear guard in town. Shelby's Confederates reached town in the late afternoon. After a brisk fight, Union troops were driven to the west end of town. Price's army and wagon train then camped in and around Independence. On the 22nd, Pleasanton's Union cavalry, pursuing Price from the east, made a mounted charge through town, driving Fagan's Confederates to the west. South, right on Lexington, left on River Boulevard, stop E. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll have to do like a Civil War video. I'm not sure how many Civil War markers there are, but like the sign said, this was a site of heavy fighting. You have this what's called the yellow dog prophecy that people will cite, like when you want to move to Missouri. Some people that you know will say, are you sure you want to move there, because isn't Missouri supposed to be swept clean so much that there won't be a yellow dog to wag its tail? And I can't remember what year it was, but I think it was in the 70s. The church published an article in the Ensign called Missouri Myths, and that's one of them, because Joseph Smith told General Alexander Doniphan, the one that refused to execute Joseph Smith and saved his life, he told him that Jackson County would pay for what they did in expelling the Saints. And it seems that that came true with the Civil War. There was heavy fighting. It said that the battle went through town and there was a lot of destruction. This is another place that I want to check out. Let's see, Clinton's soda fountain. It's like a place I think my teenage daughters would like to hang out, but I'd like to go in there too. Okay, here's the one that we were looking at last night. Number 12, Noland House, Lot 10. Joseph Smith and other Mormon leaders were held in this popular inn following their surrender at Far West, Missouri in 1838. So I think that's really neat that we have this marker here. When people come to Missouri, they'll typically go to the historic Liberty Jail because there's a visitor center there, but they don't know about the other locations where he was imprisoned. There's also an empty lot in Richmond called the Old Log Building when he was imprisoned in Richmond, and that's where he rebuked the guards. But he was also imprisoned here at this inn. Here's another Harry S. Truman marker. I'm not going to read it though, but it's just a neat little thing about Independence, all the history here. The 3 trails, Harry S. Truman, and then of course the temple lot, which is significant even to this day to many of the Restoration denominations. Not so much to Community of Christ anymore, it doesn't seem, but to those who broke away from that church and became the Restoration branches, they still hold on to those traditional beliefs. Okay, I've been meaning to check out this statue because I'm pretty sure this is Harry S. Truman. I don't see any sign or anything. I think that it is, though. You can probably rewind if you want and go back to that mural that we saw across from the Boggs home marker, and it has all those like different depictions of Harry S. Truman, and I think one of them is this iconic like World War I uniform and stance that he's in. But okay, now let's go over to the public square marker, which is over here. And it's funny because the first time I tried to find it, you know, I saw it on the map. The City of Independence has a map for the Missouri Mormon Walking Trail, but and I'm not trying to, you know, say anything bad about them, whoever put the map together, but it's not the most accurate. It will give you the general location, but it doesn't specifically tell you where the markers are. Oh, here we go. Here the Oregon Trail began. This monument honors the pioneer spirit of those courageous men and women who by their heroic trek across the continent established homes and civilization in the far Northwest. Erected in 1948 by the order of the Jackson County Court. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know until I moved here that this is the city of the three trails. There's some more markers. I'm gonna go ahead and, okay, hold on. No, let's do it. So here's a statue of Andrew Jackson. Of course, Jackson County is named after him. General Andrew Jackson, 1767 to 1845. This statue presented to the people of Jackson County by Harry S. Truman, President of the United States, 1949. Okay, I did not know that. I had never read this before, that this was, you know, given to the people of Jackson County by Harry S. Truman. Okay, that is pretty neat. And then it has a thing here. I'm not going to read it, but you can pause right now and then read it if you'd like. Okay, let's go this way. So, wait, hold on, one more. What is this? Okay, Santa Fe Trail, 1821, 1872. Marked by the Daughters of the American Revolution and the state of Missouri, 1909. Neat. I mean, do they have one for the California Trail as well? I don't know. I think I see one down there, but I'm not going to go that way. Okay. So when I was looking for this the first time, I parked my car right there, and then I checked the sidewalks going around that way, all the way around the courthouse, and then over here, still didn't see it. And then I just happened to see that it's not actually in either one of these sidewalks. It's right here in this cement block in the grass. Okay, number 6, public square. Mormon Sidney Rigdon preached at the courthouse in 1832. Increasing tension culminated in the tar and feathering of Bishop Partridge and Charles Allen on the 20th of July, 1833. So right here, this is where their tar and feathering took place. Sidney Rigdon preached here. And then right across the street, you have the Gilbert Whitney and Company store that's still in operation. Now, I don't know that it was actually on this corner, because what I've researched suggests that like this whole block, I think, was owned by them, or the store. Let Okay, I better not even speculate because I can't even remember, but suffice to say, the actual store may have been further that way or somewhere else on the block. I'm not sure. But the property has changed hands over the years, and I think it's the most recent owners that decided to restore it to what it once looked like. So you can come here and buy something as a souvenir maybe when you come to Independence. I do like the different, like there's this like thing on the side here, Gilbert Whitney and Company specialty groceries and kitchenware. Has the address. Oh, it has the hours for Santa Calagon. I guess the store hours for the store. And then you have the marker. I'm going to do this diagonally so that my shadow doesn't get in the way. This is marker number 7, Gilbert and Whitney store, lot 15. Or sorry, 51. This is the site of the Gilbert and Whitney and Company church store, purchased in 1832. In 1833, the store was the target of anti-Mormon hostility. So with this one, we got the sidewalk marker and the modern store. And then I like that sign right there too. All right, well, that's what I wanted to look at this morning. There are other markers that we need to go see. I've already done a few videos showing some of the markers. Well, you know what? In fact, I've already done one showing this one over here, but let's just do it one more time and we'll end the video over here just because it's so close. But I would encourage you to go back on my channel. I would encourage you to watch all the videos, because these videos are not necessarily in like a sequence or anything. Each one is an individual site. My earlier videos had no commentary, but don't worry, I plan on going back to those locations and doing commentary. And each time I come back to a historic site, I plan on learning more and more and researching more and sharing what I research. So I want to see these different places, what they look like throughout the year, and maybe as you know, locations change. You know, there's already been changes here in Independence because you have this big renovation project going on. Okay, here's the last marker I want to show you. So this is right by the Mixed Mutt and Company shop, and this is marker number 8, printing office number 75. Church printer W Phelps published the first paper in Independence, the Evening and Morning Star, in June 1832. On July 1833, the printing office was demolished. So we all know that story, and they tell it when you go over to the visitor center, but this is the actual location. When you go downstairs in the visitor center, they have a recreation of what it looked like, at least the top floor of the printing office. But this is the story of W Phelps, who was printing the Book of Commandments, the forerunner of Doctrine and Covenants. The mob came, they attacked, they destroyed the printing office, and you have the two girls. Let me see if I remember their names. I think it was Mary Elizabeth. Oh, I can't remember the last name. Let me know in the comments below. I thought that I had it memorized. Her and her sister, or Rollins? Is that it? Mary Elizabeth Rollins and her sister. And then there was a man by the name of John Taylor. Not the same John Taylor that became president of the church, but a different John Taylor. Those three saved as many of the uncut manuscripts as they could, the sheets of what was going to become you know, new copies of the Book of Commandments, and the girls went and hid in the cornfield, and we have them to thank for what they were able to preserve, which is now in our Doctrine and Covenants. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy all the videos. I don't know what the next video is going to be, but there is so much to see. I've got some surprises coming your way. I'm not going to spoil it though, but I do have some pretty surprising places that I'm going to go excuse me, in the near future. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.